B, try to get yours just a little bit closer to your mouth.
That's what she said.
It doesn't get any closer than this.
I mean, talk like you normally talk, though.
This is how I normally talk.
It doesn't have to be that close, but yeah.
All right, debonair.
Thank you. It's my stage name.
I couldn't see you.
That's weird. Before we start and record, I just want to know. Okay, so I read this thing, right? And it was did you hear about the guy that got stuck in the 24-hour fitness in Utah? So there's this guy in Utah, and I guess this 24-hour fitness closes from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. So it's not really a 24-hour
Yeah, a lot of them are like that now.
But so the guy goes for a swim at like 11:30 or something like that, and then when he comes out of the water, all the lights are off. There's no one to be found, and he's like stuck in a gym. So I was thinking like, if you were stuck in a place like overnight, obviously it doesn't have to be like 4 hours, but if it's like a good overnight, bit of time, where would you want to be stuck? Like, where's a place you'd want to be stuck? Costco?
No, fuck no. That'd be kind of creepy in there.
That's
what I was. Big ass warehouse.
Locked up. You can grab a mattress. You can grab blankets. You can grab a pillow.
That's for sure. Like zombie apocalypse. That's a fucking good spot. But
well, where are you going?
I don't know. Not a massive building, because there's just so many. You can't keep your tabs on everything. Like something nice and small.
You're in there by yourself. Like,
I know
you're not like, oh, this is where murderers hang out. Like,
you just
in their
never
spare
know.
Time. Like,
you just never know what the fuck. Somebody could be trying to break in and steal some shit.
There's a
and
serial
then they see
killer.
you like, all right, fucking let's kill this dude. He's gonna.
But there's so many hiding spots too,
you
though.
can hide anywhere.
Yeah, but they could still fucking, if they do see you.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
You're never in a place by yourself and you're like, dude, somebody could just totally try to fuck me up right now.
No.
Like if a gang of people try to come and
there's
in a Costco after they close?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm just saying in a scenario normally. Like
I understand.
Yeah, sure. Maybe if I'm at a gas station in Southeast San Diego, I'm like, all right, I gotta pump this gas fast. Like, get the fuck
or
out
like
of here.
I get home late at night, I'm taking groceries out of my car.
But that's the feeling I would get inside of a Costco, stuck in there by myself.
All right, well, you're clearly not at Costco, so where are you going?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be stuck anywhere.
You have to. That's not the game.
He clearly has a fear of this.
I know.
Yeah. I would not want to be fucking
That's
stuck
not the game. You got to pick a place.
No.
There's no gang that's going to come kill you.
I want to be stuck in a hotel.
That's even
they
creepier.
Don't lock them up, though.
But there's been like haunted hotels. There's been murders at hotels. Like that's
there's actual people in there too, sleeping.
Yeah, well, they're going to be next door.
All right, well, I was thinking about it, and Ryan, I liked your idea of Costco, but then I thought, like, I need entertainment. So I'm thinking
you could turn on the TVs there. But...
I'm thinking either Best Buy or, like, Dave & Buster's.
Dave & Buster's, you're not going to be able to get the machines on.
They're just always on.
They got to shut those things off at night.
Yeah, I don't know.
They'd be running so much freaking energy.
Yeah, they would. But
well,
do they close?
Scenario.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
think it was
like a strip
so.
club.
I would say then it would be Best Buy.
Yeah,
because Best Buy's got like they have snacks. There's movies.
What about Target?
Target would be in the same kind of thing as Costco.
Yeah, a little smaller, but
yeah, you'd be more safe.
Yeah,
but also Targets are in like sketchy areas too sometimes. So.
Depends on the target, though.
See what I'm saying?
You're the target, clearly.
Yeah, you're the target there.
Yeah.
You took that to another level that I wasn't ready for. Just like,
well, you're just thinking,
well, I can't be in there because what if all
when
of a sudden
when you're by yourself,
the Costco serial killer,
you got to think of like being safe when you're by yourself.
The other thing that I thought,
like
Costco,
you would be safe. It's just
the other thing I'm thinking of Costco is like their deliveries come in super early, so I could dip out at like 3 a.m. But like, obviously, I'm not paying for my bag of Doritos. Like, you locked me in here.
Yeah, I'm taking this, and I'm taking this fucking pillow too.
So that was the other weird part about this story too that I was reading. It was like, so the guy was locked inside of the 24-hour fitness.
Yeah, like all their protein
takes a
bars.
bunch of pictures and stuff like inside to show that he's there. Then calls the Utah police, and he's like, "Hey, I'm stuck inside this 24. Can you come get me?" And they go, "All right, well, everyone's busy right now, so we'll come get you when it's convenient." It's like, no, dude, I'm stuck in here. Get me out. Like, get me out. Like,
It's Utah. They're kind of small though. Like they might be
that's
doing
even
real
worse.
shit.
It's just like,
I definitely wouldn't want to be stuck in a gym.
no, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, I would be super buff when I got out. No, I'm just,
No, you'd be so sore.
you're just like fucking dead.
I'd take like a Bosu ball as my pillow.
The half ones.
Yeah, and I'd use a yoga mat.
I like how
I say
Ryan's
I would
like-
definitely layer the yoga mats, like a shit ton of them. Like
I
four
like
of them
how all
high.
of our like we all have different thoughts on it though. Like Ryan's like, I'm trying to sleep because it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Brandon's like, I'm on high alert.
What am I
so
gonna
I'm
do?
have
Stress
to have,
out?
like- Brandon's like, I'm gonna need to have like a Hawkeye nest up top somewhere to like at a good vantage.
Well, that's what I was
point.
thinking about with Costco. He was like, I could get up on top of those things.
You
and I could
could.
just, like,
Maybe Costco's not a bad one. I don't know.
And then
Like,
I'm
what's that
over here.
movie?
but my
thinking,
initial
like,
thought was just like, nah.
I'm over here thinking like,
You're thinking
blank
of
check,
employ-
like, oh, what can I do for the full night? Like, what kind of resources?
You're thinking of employee of the month with Dan
yeah,
Cook.
yeah. They got the freaking like poker table up.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Not poker table. They
That,
had, like,
that was
lounge
so
area.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to think about.
Yeah.
Because they have like somehow the racks are wide enough for them to fit a fucking pool.
Yeah.
It's like, and they have like a guy who lets
You're like, how far
who
away
lifts
are
the
these
pallet of
aisles?
shit like back and forth so it can hide their poker table.
Oh, that's funny.
It's fantastic.
All right, well, let's do it.
Boys, let's get to it.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Yeah. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? Three Amigos and a Podcast, Season 2, Episode 31, coming at you.
3-1.
3-1, 3A.
This is the part of the podcast where we talk about the numbers of the episodes.
Like, wow, can you guys believe we're still here?
Yeah. Oh my God, we've
the
done this
Jason
for so
Bateman
long.
meme. Or is it Jason Bateman on the Hot Ones where he's like, "Look at us, look at us."
I don't know.
You
This
guys
one.
haven't seen that?
No, but
All right.
I just made you feel really stupid, didn't
Yeah.
I? No.
No, I just feel more cultured than you guys. I'm just, I'm more with it. More with the people.
You're hip and happening.
I'm
You're
hip.
what's happening.
I'm hip hop. Hip hop anonymous.
Hip hop anonymous.
You give him all the easy ones.
Anyways, how's you guys this week? Pretty
It
good.
was good. Yeah.
One of you answer. I don't know.
I got back from Vegas over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Stayed at the Venetian.
Yeah. So, all right.
You
when
didn't tell us Dama was going with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
No, you
made it
didn't.
sound like it was you and your buddy.
No,
going to Vegas.
no. Well, I guess I didn't explain it well, but no, but it was my buddy who just had his kid
Yeah.
and his wife,
Oh.
and they were like,
I thought he was getting like a hall pass. Like, hey. have a
No,
week off.
no. For him, it's as close as you can get a hall pass, just getting some time away from the kid.
Yeah.
And Dama is really good friends with her. Like they knew each other before I knew them. Like,
Gotcha.
and I actually worked together with both of them at Olive Garden, so it's kind of like a small world type thing.
Nice.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. Stayed at the Venetian and walked and drank a shit ton.
Nice.
And went to a bunch of different, pretty much went to every casino you could think of on the strip.
So what's up? Did you gamble at all?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
Win, lose? What do you?
No, I lost some money.
Boo.
Yeah, the stupid ass Vikings fucking cost me. And then
Jesus, dude.
what?
Like
You
one-
bet on the Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took them with the point spread,
Oh.
I think they're at what? They were at like 9.5,
7 points.
7 points.
But anyways, I don't know. I was gonna play. This is where I fucked up. I was gonna play the money line on either the Vikings or the Titans because I wanted to take an underdog, and I picked the wrong underdog, and I would have won $100 off of my $20 if I would have bet on the Titans. My coworker's a huge Vikings fan, and he really was like, "Dude, you got to do it. We're gonna win." I'm like, "All right, fuck it. I'll throw 20 on it for you."
No love for Jimmy G,
And
man.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that didn't end well. I did hedge my bets. I put 10 on the money line for the Boise State over State, and I think that was the
Boise State overstate?
over San Diego State.
But they lost.
Yeah, I know. I hedged my bet because I wanted them to win, so I put $10 on them, and if I lost, I'd have won $50. And
Wait. So you're saying that you bet against SDSU? So it was like, oh, if SDSU wins, I'm happy, but if they lose, then I also get money. So
I get $50.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
That's what. Okay.
Interesting way to bet. But
Yeah.
I was
okay.
thinking you hedged your bet, and I was like,
Yeah.
No,
I
that
thought
was
you
that was my way of
games.
being like, I'm gonna be happy no matter what if I make this bet, and it's only $10, so
Gotcha. Okay.
and so made that bet. I did take the over on the which was insane.
Chiefs
Chiefs
game.
yeah, did the first half. It was like 24
Oh,
points.
you took that bet too?
Yeah, I literally
That
just
Warren Sharp.
I literally
fucking BS bet?
mirrored Enrique's bets because I was like, I haven't done enough research on this stuff. So
Enrique had a good week.
what was the bet?
It was it was over 24 points in the first half of the Texans Chiefs game, and that hit in the first quarter. So
almost the first quarter, it was like
Texans Chiefs. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
That was
nice. Well, sounds
Every
like a fun weekend.
time I go to Vegas, though, by the time I'm done, I'm like, I'm done with this place. Like that's just the general feeling every time I leave Vegas.
How long was that hangover?
I actually handled it pretty well. I think it's we were walking so much, but had some dirty martinis. Felt very classy.
Okay.
Bunch of classy men.
Yeah, you're a new man.
Yeah.
How's your weekend, Ryan?
It was good. Saturday we went to Pure Project.
Yep.
Dean came with, took the dog there. Watched some football. Went to Hooters afterwards. Ate some food. And Sunday we just kind of hung out.
Nice.
It was
Watch
nice.
football.
Hooters.
Yeah, it was fun.
Bold choice.
It was, I mean, it's all about the food there. Let me.
It's all about the food there.
I mean, especially that one. It's the one in Mission Valley. It's
Oh, is the Mission Valley one again?
yeah.
It's the only one we have now.
They should.
But
do more,
Alex
like,
wasn't in town. Why did you guys go?
Jaylee likes Hooters.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Their food was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
it was good stuff.
She likes their fried pickles.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, me Saturday, like you said, Ryan, went and watched some football at Pure Project and all that kind of stuff. And then Sunday, Sarah and I went up to Oceanside and we just did like a fun little staycation thing up there. Went to a couple bars and breweries and stuff, played some games and whatnot.
Nice.
Stayed the night over there at this like hotel right on the water. It was really nice, really nice hotel. Great area. I don't know, like I've never really been to Oceanside, so it was a cool place to just go. Like really quiet. There's not a whole lot of people there. We like rode bikes on the boardwalk and stuff, and it's just really nice.
What was the resort?
It wasn't a resort. It was
Residence Inn, right?
no, it was like a Share Hill Suites by Marriott.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So it was like a good sized room and stuff. It was cool, but yeah, it was a fun time. It was a good little trip.
Just a getaway type thing.
Yeah, exactly. She leaves next week, so yeah,
There you go.
very sad. Not going to talk about it. I'm not going to cry on the podcast.
Well, it wouldn't be the first.
What? I don't cry on here. There's no crying in podcasting, Brandon.
You cry all the time when you podcast. I can't remember a time you didn't cry on the
not
podcast.
crying. Oh man. Oh yeah. Also, I got new contacts. Picked up some one-a-days. You ever try one-a-days, Ryan? No.
No.
These one-a-days I have on.
What are
suck.
one-a-days?
Throw them out after a day.
Oh,
Yeah,
on new
so
Makes
you get, like,
sense.
a new one every day.
is it like
They're
really,
just more expensive.
really? Oh, it's
My insurance covers it, so
Yeah.
it's like an option for me.
do they
but-
just give you like a fat stack of them, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, you get like you can get them in like a 6-month supply. So
Like
I
a
don't
big
know.
box worth?
It's- What's one like 360
360 contacts.
Yeah.
Times 2?
Well, 6 months.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
So
For
you,
both
are you
eyes.
saying 360 per contact, or
360.
let's turn this into a math equation? No,
So 130.
At 4
no,
cents a piece.
no, I know.
is
I'm
how
just,
much- no, just kidding.
I'm just having fun.
But yeah, these ones I have now suck and my eyes are killing me. But anyways, all right, let's get into it. NFL finally finished up our head coaching hires. The Browns found their guy in Kevin Stefanski, the Vikings offensive coordinator. I mean, it's a good hire. it was Stefanski's first full year at as the Vikings offensive coordinator, and I think they went 10-4. Or that doesn't even make sense.
10-6.
11-5, I think.
Yeah.
Or 11-5. Yeah, so 11-5. I mean, that's pretty good. Doesn't really have a long resume, but at the same time, it's like
Yeah, he's been with the Vikings since 2006, so I mean,
yeah, but it's like this is his first year actually calling plays.
Yeah.
Like he kind of was always in the background beforehand.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, I don't know. As more and more we like learn about football and learn about sports, it doesn't always seem like it's the offensive coordinator that is the guy that's even like game planning. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people have their hands in different things, so
yeah.
this could be a guy that was just in the shadows.
Honestly, like I like what the Vikings offense has done, you know, in the last 14 years,
Mhm.
you know, all the way with AP, you know, to what they did with Teddy Bridgewater, you know, bringing in Kellen Clemens. Like, they've done a good job. I feel like they're one of those teams that over the last decade, they're not the best, but they're definitely not the worst.
No,
And
they've been on a steady incline.
Yeah, they've had good quality teams, and they've done really well on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he's a leader. That's what this team needs. I didn't like how he came out and he said that he was a fan of Baker Mayfield's accuracy.
Yeah.
After Baker Mayfield threw like 21 interceptions this year.
I saw that too.
I was like, did you watch them play?
It was like, is that what you mean you like? Did you mean accuracy
Yeah.
or did you mean
Like,
attitude?
Did you
Like,
just get excited about something? Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
But I
You
mean,
mean his reads?
an offensive mind going into a team with the offense that they have makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at the Vikings and the weapons that they have with Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. He's going to be having, you know, the same, if not better, weapons to utilize with the Browns. So hopefully this is their guy, and we're not talking about the Browns changing coaches in another 2 years.
And it's like a great fit in the sense of the Vikings having, you know, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, like a solid 1-2 kind of thing, and going to the Browns who kind of have a similar, you know, offense with
OBJ and Jarvis
Landry. It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of a
absolutely.
good mirroring fit. So it's somebody that knows how to work with two people that, I mean, as we saw earlier this year, it's like somewhat divas in the sense of Adam Thielen calling out Kirk Cousins and Stephon Diggs they said he was like a diva, you know what I mean? Calling for more playing time. It's like you kind of have the same thing. So
I would say it's amplified in Cleveland, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
it's
at the same time, it's like
massively
it's a good training,
Yeah,
in a
absolutely.
way. And then I heard this bit of news that the Giants are in talks with Jason Garrett to hire him as their offensive coordinator. That would just be, I don't know.
Look,
So you're
North
rubbing
Turner-
salt in the wound.
Well, this is like in my eyes, it's more or less like, well, we're giving our new head coach like a chance. In a way,
this is my
you know,
thing.
Like,
North Turner was a terrible head coach. He's a phenomenal offensive coordinator. He wasn't a head coach because he's not a leader. He doesn't bring a presence to a team that, you know, solidifies them as like a championship figure. And Jason Garrett had the same thing. My only issue is that I don't know how much of Jason Garrett's, you know, ability to run an offense is his own. I mean, for the last several years we've seen Dak Prescott. You know, before that he had Tony Romo and Des Bryant and Jason Witten. You know, he's gone through his fair share of good players. So, not to say that he's going to go to the Giants, he's going to have scrubs, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like the worst thing the Giants could do. You know, you definitely want your offensive coordinator to be somebody who's more laid back, that can, you know, read a defense and, you know, can, you know, call a game plan, but it's hard to say.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of see it as like the Giants being like, well, Joe Judge doesn't really have any experience being like a front name guy, like an OCDC head coach type thing. So let's bring in a guy with some head coaching experience to help him through like him getting him up to speed, and at the same time maybe our offense can take a turn. So
The other aspect of this is that Jason Garrett has been known for the last decade as a puppet,
that's very true.
and the
The
Giants
Giants are looking
looking
that.
for a puppet.
I agree. Yeah, that was a good point. Then we had some retirement news. First off, we had Antonio Gates retiring. which hats off to him. I mean,
Legend.
He's a shoe-in for first ballot.
I was going to say, this dude deserves Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I mean,
He could have deserved like that, like wrestling, like while they're still playing Hall of Fame status.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
just
like-
get him in now.
in all honesty, too, I mean, Antonio Gates, he's not the flashiest player that ever played, but my God, did he revolutionize the entire position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say Tony Gonzalez did, and yeah, Tony Gonzalez was a phenomenal tight end, but you never saw anything like
No.
Antonio Gates. Until this day, we haven't seen a lot like it, but nowadays people are looking for tight ends who are wide receivers that they can flex out.
Well, like Travis Kelce, I feel like is kind of like a second coming of Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Like a guy that's smaller. He's really good at using his body to create space, and he has a decent amount of speed. I mean, Antonio Gates, early on he had some speed, but
I think that my favorite thing about watching Antonio Gates is how he boxed people out. Because, I mean, he was
Exactly.
an
Yeah.
undrafted free agent. He was a basketball player at Kent State. You
Wait,
know,
really? No, I'm just...
Oh, I was like,
we heard it for the first
Yeah.
5 years of his
Yeah.
career.
I know.
5 years, maybe his entire career.
know.
That was
Yeah, probably.
that was popping up in 2 years ago whenever he was last playing. And
yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But I love how that translated onto the NFL field. Like how slowing down a route and boxing somebody out, it wasn't something that we really saw from a tight end position. And now it's something that you see from receivers like Keenan Allen. I mean, he
Yeah.
definitely took that out of Antonio Gates' book.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the things that's gonna be sad about it is he's one of the last few like true San Diego Chargers. So now Phillips gone, well, likely to be gone, and then I guess Keenan Allen would probably be the last like stud player from the San Diego days.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because Bosa
Yeah.
was still on the team, but it was kind of like
That was his first. I think he was only in San Diego for a
it
year.
was like
And
the
he
right
held out for-
the writing was like on the wall at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Then in other news, we had Luke Kuechly retiring at 28.
Really young.
Really young. That's us.
That surprised
Yeah.
me. Remember, I was just
Yeah.
talking about how
I was
like,
just gonna ask if you guys were surprised.
I was very surprised.
Well, okay. Let me put it this way. I was very surprised that he announced his retirement, but at the same time, I'm not surprised looking at the Panthers organization and where they're going forward.
Injury history.
And
Like my gosh,
Yeah.
he hasn't been able to stay healthy for the last 4 or 5 years.
You can't fault the guy for
No,
doing it. And
it didn't surprise me. Like it's always shocking when you see it. It's like, oh, this happened. But like right after I saw it, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And it was kind of the same thing with Andrew Luck. It was like
Yeah.
you saw it and you're like, oh my god, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like in our generation we've seen it more now with the Calvin Johnsons, Andrew Luck, now Luke Kuechly's. And there was another linebacker from the 49ers who was phenomenal who retired after like 2 years.
Was it not Navarro Bowman? What was it?
I can't remember what his name was. Like he wasn't even around long enough to
Yeah.
really for me to remember, but
Yeah.
it's been happening more frequently, I should say.
Patrick Willis? Is that something right? I don't know.
I don't know. I was trying to look it up real quick. Just
Well,
pulling it
anyways, regardless,
up. I can't find
I
it.
mean, you're seeing a trend right now in the NFL. Players are retiring at a younger age. I think it's
Absolutely.
evident of like all the research that's been done with concussion, and these guys are making their money, and then they're taking off and running with it. Which
Absolutely.
I can't fault the
can't
guy
fault
for
the
doing
guy
it.
at all. Not
It
at all.
was the notable NFL retirees 30 or younger. Luke Kuechly, Rob Gronkowski at 29, Andrew Luck 29, Cam Chancellor at 30, and Calvin Johnson at 30.
There's another guy. He wasn't
Okay.
around long enough to be like among the elites, but he had a
Yeah.
really good like first couple years.
But I agree. I mean, I think it's more or less like you kind of see it in even like college football. Like college football is starting to be more competitive in the fact that organizations are getting better at recruiting. So you don't always get like the top 5 are going to one school, or you get like 2 of the top 10 that are going to one school. It's like it's a good even spread.
Nice and balanced. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like you kind of see wear and tear early, and all the science and research that's come out against showing these injuries and how they in the future they affect your life and stuff like that. It kind of makes sense that these
Gotta
guys are
take care
looking
of
out for
your chicken.
themselves. Yeah, you gotta take out for your chicken, man. Take care of your money. Take care of your chicken. Take care.
No,
But,
I mean I
yeah.
can't fault the guy. Honestly, I think that there's people out there who don't pay attention to football and the injuries and the brutal recovery that these guys have to go through. I mean, the fact that J.J. Watt is still playing, I mean, you don't have that kind of like willpower in each individual who can go from an injury, come back from an injury, and get hurt again in a different part of their body. And like you said, he made his money. He's put his stamp on in the league. You know, he was a phenomenal player, and props to the dude.
Quick question: do you think he makes the Hall of Fame?
That's the thing. I feel like if we start to see this trend build where the lifespan of NFL players is between 28 and 35, like if we start to see players retiring within that time frame and the stats kind of adjust as such, I think, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
First ballot, definitely not. If the trend continues, yes. Right now, no.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same boat.
exactly.
Right. If we're seeing this like over a 10-year period, then maybe there's a chance he gets in somewhere later down the line. It's not that he's not deserving of it, but the sample size is just too small.
Yeah. And the level of competition and
like if you would say,
look at
there's no Super Bowl championship. There's nothing that like really stands out. Like he's got several.
You look at like the previous tenure of players at his position. It's like the accolades that they have. Yes, he was a smart player. Yes, he was the leader of that team, and he changed the Panthers defense when he was on the field or against it. But
Ray Lewis, Junior Seau, it's still not in the
Brian
same boat.
Urlacher,
Brian
Urlacher.
Yeah, and for them, I don't think that it's the longevity of their career; it's the impact.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the Panthers didn't have a huge national impact. I know we saw them in the Super Bowl once, and I think he was hurt.
Yeah, they got smoked too, didn't they?
He was hurt.
So it's right now, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Phenomenal player though.
Yeah,
nothing against the guy.
No. That's why he's been to several Pro Bowls and is pretty much regarded as one of the better linebackers currently in football.
Yeah, one of the smartest football players
last
on the
year.
Side of the ball, absolutely.
The only thing, honestly, I could see him coming out of retirement in the sense of, the Panthers are in a rebuild and he wants to win. So
we'll see. It's hard to say. 28 years old. It's like, what's he gonna do? Take a couple years off, come back when he's 30?
Take a year off.
Well, he could always. If that was really the case, I feel like he could have just told the front office, like, "Hey, trade me to a contender, or I'm retiring."
Yeah,
but
that way,
who knows?
That way, the Panthers would listen to him because right now they essentially got nothing for him.
The only thing is
contract talks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was already on a contract. My only thing is that it's not a quarterback position where you can play at an elite level past a certain age. So it's like he's gonna come back, in a year or two when he's older. But his injuries have all been in different parts of his body at different times in his career, and it's like if that's why he's retiring. This is also a dude that's not even on social media. So it's like it's not like he's out there saying or presenting himself as somebody that's I'm in the gym all the time. I'm doing this. When I saw this, I was like, this dude is just done.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Yeah. I have a hard time.
I'm not saying it's impossible. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
I think it's a long shot for sure.
But I also think it's his storyline's a little bit interesting too because, like you said, not on social media, that kind of thing. Even it's not a premier position in the sense of it's not a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Like you saw with Andrew Luck with his injuries, it's like he was like, I'm mentally exhausted, having to deal with the noise of me being injured. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is a different kind of injury. It's like a physical, him listening to his body, not a mental struggle that he's also had to go through.
Well, that's the thing is you just don't know. For a dude that doesn't really talk to the media, it's you don't know what he's going through. With Andrew Luck, it didn't come as much of a surprise because you saw it. You saw
it was written on his face.
Yeah,
you saw, and the guy was just getting smoked.
And that's what that's what I'm getting at. Is we don't know. We don't know exactly what this dude where his struggle is. But coming from everything that his teammates have said, it's you get the feeling he's just done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good for him for listening to his body and taking care of himself.
I think he's
you said, you can't fault the guy for looking out for himself.
He's going to be a leader going forward. I think you're going to see a continued trend. Obviously, we've seen it in the past, those players that you just mentioned. But yeah, I think that CTE awareness or whatever is really taking a life of its own.
Even body awareness, not alone from CTE.
The shocking part is most of these injuries aren't head related.
Yeah, it's I don't think he had a concussion this year, but it's even tearing a pec or dislocating your knee,
but
or something like that. You want to
people
walk.
Talking about that, it's it brings awareness to the body.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen to your body because you're making good money right now. You could theoretically live off
for forever.
You could live off of this money that you've made. These I know they're not getting paid a whole lot in the NFL, but like
somewhere $100
you know,
million
like
that he's
50
made.
to $100 million that you're making, somewhere in that range. You know,
As long as you don't pull a Kurt Schilling and go bankrupt.
Yeah, right.
well, he had some really poor investments,
Well, yeah,
and
no,
he had probably his financial advisors just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Poor guy, but and he had
but-
to beat cancer a couple times, I think, right?
Well, I mean, don't make me feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, jeez. Didn't know all that part.
You didn't know he had cancer?
No, I just thought he was trying to.
Well, I didn't know the poor guy was handicapped.
Yeah. Jesus. Anyways, divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We started off the weekend with the Vikings and the 49ers. I mean, it started off looking somewhat competitive, and then the 49ers just got into their groove. I think it was something like they allowed a total of 147 yards, which is like the lowest in Super Bowl, in playoff history in the Super Bowl era. But
Game went exactly how I thought it was going to go, man.
Yeah, they shit to bed.
It's
Vikings.
not even like I feel like everybody gets so like hung up on the 49ers offense versus the Vikings offense and whoever they're going against, but damn, does that defense know how to freaking shut people down.
It's exactly like you said last week, Ryan, when we were talking about the overtime, like if they should change, overtime in the playoffs or whatever. There's two sides of the ball. There's offense and there's defense. And this game proved that defense wins championships. It
Absolutely.
does. It was, it's exactly like how people were saying that the Ravens are relentless on offense and you can't, you have to deal with them for 60 minutes. This is a defense you have to deal with for 60 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
They beat them
That's
in
what happened.
literally every facet of the game.
And they have so many pass rushers. I mean, gosh, they're getting them in and out of there like it's a freaking hockey lineup.
Yeah.
Like Nick Bosa's running off the field, and then you're dealing with DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, and then Nick Bosa's running back onto the field, and you got to deal with him. Like, that's hard for an offensive line to deal with that much power and then speed.
That's smart,
Yeah.
though. That's
No,
what
absolutely.
you want to keep your players fresh.
Absolutely.
I mean,
the
want to
depth
play
of that defensive line is just, it's brutal, and it is after you for the entire 60 minutes of the game.
play smart, not hard.
And it's like going
Well,
up against
and hard,
a different guy every time. Everybody plays differently, you know what I mean? You like to swim move, you
hard
like
to
to
game
bull
plan
rush, you
for.
like to rip. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like you got to, as an offensive lineman, you're like, shit, dude, I forget how this guy likes to play me.
And then think about it this way from a quarterback standpoint. It's like you see them rush Nick Bosa back onto the field. You're like, all right, they're coming at me hard. Like, let's run a screen. And then he pulls back into freaking coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's beyond hard to game plan for.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, you need an entire season's worth of film to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. But I mean, I love defense. Back when we used to play Madden seasons, you'd play offense, I'd play defense. I love defense in football, and I love what the 49ers are doing. I like watching them play. Like,
phenomenal, man.
Yeah. Even from top to bottom, even when people are talking about Richard Sherman being old and like washed up and all this stuff, that dude is still out there in coverage.
Such an underrated corner, in my
like
opinion.
a freaking shadow, man. It's ridiculous.
Such an underrated corner.
Yeah. Then we had the upset of the week with the Titans beating the Ravens 28-12. I mean, this kind of came down to what we had prefaced last week, was saying the Ravens are terrible tackling in space. If Derrick Henry can get outside, they're gonna run all over him, and that's exactly what he did.
It was one of those things where, like, we said it because it's there,
Yeah.
and like, but you think at like a certain point, like, they have to figure out how to slow him down. But my God, Derrick Henry ran all over him.
Dude, he broke one for like 68 yards. You tell me,
and then he threw for one right
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, apparently.
Where was that in the regular season, asshole? No, God.
Apparently, Mike Vrabel was out there. He was yelling, Tebow. And that was the Tebow play, the
Nice.
jump pass. I was like, all right, I like the callback.
That's your
good.
boy.
Yeah.
No, honestly, man, I feel like since like week 5, and they even talked about them last year. The Titans are a good football team.
Hard
And
nose. They play.
Their defense
yeah.
isn't up to par with the 49ers, but their offense, keeps them on the field, and it keeps their defense fresh, and that's huge. And that's what this game came down to, is their defense, didn't have to play for 30 minutes, of hard playoff football. Instead, they got a longer break, and the Ravens couldn't do anything. I mean, they got outside of their game plan. I know they lost Mark Ingram pretty early, and then he came back, and he was obviously not the same Mark Ingram. But this came down to one thing that I've been saying all year about the Ravens is that they don't have good wide receivers. And Lamar Jackson, he was creating space, he was getting the ball to where it needed to be, and they dropped so many passes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the first drive they had 4 drops alone, and it just continued throughout the game.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate that they lost Mark Ingram early just because it's like Lamar Jackson's a talented, smart player, and it's like he's enough to win you ball games, but you also need something else to supplement him, and it's like he just had nothing there. Like you're saying, wide receivers dropping balls. He can't hand off the ball to Mark Ingram. Obviously, as a defense, you're game planning for that. You're like, just spy the quarterback the whole time.
Yeah.
Like on read options, just go after him. Like
they
make him run
need
the
to
ball.
invest in. I mean, Hollywood Brown had a good year. They need to invest in another weapon, somebody that can just get out there and get open.
Yeah.
And they also need to invest in a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's one of the biggest things that I felt like,
Especially in the new style football.
it's one of those things where it saves Lamar Jackson and it's going to make his career last a lot longer. But I mean, we've watched Tom Brady how many times just dump the ball off to a running back when there's nobody else there. It's tough when you have Mark Ingram, who's a good running back, just not great in open space.
Yeah.
He's between the tackles runner.
Yeah, he's more of a traditional running back.
So that's something else that they need to look to. The Ravens aren't far off. I mean, we watched them all year. They were the number 1 seed, and this is obviously a huge upset. But the Titans are a good football team, and it was a bad matchup.
I would absolutely hate to see what happened to Atlanta happen to the Ravens. Like, just not being able to find your footing again after like a great season.
Well, the thing too is like with the Falcons, it was like they always had every piece. So it was like you go into the offseason and you see exactly, like as the Ravens, you see how you got outmanned, how you got outmatched. And, then it's time to go to work, whether you're doing that in free agency, the draft, whatever it may be. With the Falcons, they always had every piece.
Yeah.
Like we got both running backs, we got phenomenal wide receivers, we got a good quarterback, good tight end. Like, what else do we need? So, I mean,
offensively speaking, seemed like they should just be clicking.
And then the 1 year that they made the Super Bowl, their defense was phenomenal, and then they shit the bed in the second half. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that this is going to be the same issue. I think John Harbaugh, runs a better organization than that. But they're close, and they're still a really young football team.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I love their game plan of always like being analytically based and being like, on 4th down, you're more likely to get it, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. But there was times in that game where it was like, it's 4th and 1, you need to punt it. You're not completely out of this game. Punt the ball. Because those 4th down turnovers, those turnover on downs drives, I think they had 3 of them. It's just like, those are backbreaking.
My only argument with it, and you're absolutely right. My only argument is that they couldn't stop Derrick Henry. So if you punt the ball back farther, that's just more time they're eating off the clock.
But even still, it's like, yes, they're eating time off the clock, but you're giving yourself chances. Yeah, you're not letting them score as quickly.
That's what I was saying. I totally agree with you. I think that's literally the only reason that they're looking at that.
Yeah.
Not like the Chiefs game.
No.
Not like the Chiefs game.
Texans-Chiefs game, absolutely wild. I went through the full range of emotions here. I started off the game so happy, dude. I was like, it was incredible. I was jumping up and down, high-fiving everybody.
We got a touchdown, block, punt for a touchdown.
Dude. And then
another
immediately
touchdown.
in the first quarter, Sarah looks at me and she goes, the Texans got this.
Oh, yeah. But
I looked at her and I said, I'm never going to forgive you.
So, but when they went down 24-0, did you honestly think that it was over?
No way.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I'm watching it. I'm like, we're about to see like one of the craziest comebacks in football.
Yeah. And then it was.
I didn't think that it would happen in one quarter.
Yeah.
No, it was too much. So anyway, so the game starts off, and before the game, I put $5 on Kenny Stills to score the first touchdown to win $100. And he scores the first touchdown.
Dang.
So I'm like, dude, this is my motherfucking game. Like, I'm so excited. Then the block punt, then another touchdown. They had all this kind of stuff going. And I was like, this game is going to break my heart. And it did. And, the Texans defense just couldn't get up to speed with the Chiefs offense. That's literally what it was. Every time we see the Chiefs win these like crazy games, they're always in shootouts. And that's exactly what happened.
We
The Texans defense sucks.
yeah,
sucks.
they've sucked all year for the most
bad.
part.
Like, and I didn't say it all year, but they are bad.
yeah,
Like,
Dude,
just not good.
well,
yeah.
it's anything past 8 yards.
yeah.
If you can throw the ball, if you can run routes further than 8 yards, you are going to move the ball.
This is a team that didn't want to re-sign Tyrann Mathieu, a team that got rid of Kareem Jackson
Kareem and Jadeveon Clowney.
and Jadeveon Clowney. What did you gain? Future draft picks? You let a dude walk right out the door?
No, they gained Bill O'Brien getting a further butt chin.
But it just
That
seemed like
freaking crevice.
they just seemed like this was a
God.
bad matchup going in. Like I was pretty convinced the Chiefs were going to
It
come.
was a bad matchup going in, but when you start off the game with everything swinging your way,
No,
like
I
that,
agree,
You
100%.
can't let
You-
that slip through your fingers. That's just
This literally came down to one drive for me, and it was when they were up 24-0. The Chiefs go down and score pretty quick,
Mhm.
and then the Texans go for it on 4th down. And I can't remember exactly where they were.
No, they were like they were in their zone on the 45.
31. They're on the 31-yard line.
Oh, they were
They were
okay.
that far back.
They were in Chiefs territory.
No,
31.
they're not in Chiefs territory. They were on their own 31-yard line.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and they went for it on 4th and 4. Fake. That was the fake punt. So they had the
Yes.
fake punt on 4th down. Didn't get it. Then the Chiefs go down, score a touchdown on the next play. Literally from there, I was like, we're about to see it.
Yep.
Like, this is about to go downhill.
spiral.
And then after that, they had the fumble, a punt, and then a missed field goal. And I was like, this game's over. Like,
Dude, yeah.
you can't afford to make those mistakes.
No.
not
no,
against
you-
Mahomes.
Just in any game. You can't that's just you beating yourself, and then knowing that you have coverage issues, knowing that you can rush the passer, you can get pressure on a quarterback, but it's Patrick Mahomes who can move outside the pocket and can create time.
It's like
time
they
to throw
looked
ball.
at the game plan of the team that they were playing. They got up 24-0. They're like, all right, so, we just got to keep the foot on the gas on the offensive side of the ball. We can afford to, give up some space on defense. And it was like, that's the one thing that you cannot do.
that.
Yeah.
You have to run the ball effectively, and you got to slow down the receivers. And you didn't do any of it.
This is why Bill O'Brien needs to be on the hot seat, because he has led this team to the playoffs so many times, but they can't get past the divisional round.
No more hot seat. This dude, like,
I agree. I think he should be fired.
This
I
is
think he should be
ridiculous.
fired, but we talked about it last week, how it's like
You gave
a
up
coach that
20
brings you to the promised land like that, and you know what I mean? Like, I forget who we were talking about last week, who was
28 points in one quarter.
we were
Yeah.
talking about Sean Payton last week,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, after you lead a season that far, you can't get the axe.
The biggest
But
difference is, and Brandon said it, is Sean Payton has a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
It might have been from,
a while back.
a while back, but it's still there.
2009.
I'm
right,
so
or
done
10?
with Bill O'Brien. I've been saying it.
You've been saying it since we started this damn podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been on the hot seat for a while, and honestly, you should have been fired after this game. You can't let a lead slip like that and just be okay with it as an owner.
This is like in The Office when Andy tried to start shrooting it. I shrooted it.
Yeah.
This is O'Briening it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, he O'Briened the shit out of this game.
Yeah.
The other aspect of this, too, that drives me nuts when it just comes down to poor game planning is that the Chiefs don't have a great defense, but they're really good at rushing the quarterback. So instead of calling simple plays to, for lack of a better term, dink and dunk down the field,
But that's what they needed to do.
no, they didn't do that.
No, I
yeah.
know. I'm saying that's what they
Yeah,
needed.
They
to-
didn't. They
yeah.
let Deshaun Watson continue to take 5-step drops and run for his life, and maybe try to find some receivers down the field. But I mean, when the Chiefs started off the game with like 5 consecutive drops, like this was your time to eat clock.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have given them an opportunity to score 4 touchdowns in that quarter.
No.
From that moment, it should have been ball control.
Literally, if you woke up or if you just turned the game on at halftime, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, the Texans had no chance."
I'm not gonna
of
lie to
winning
you.
this game."
I fell asleep after the second half. Like I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. I woke up and I was like, what just happened?
Dude, I was at a loss.
And then you only come away with a field goal in the second half.
It's unbelievable. Then the last game, we had the Seahawks and the Packers. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty distraught and upset after the Texans game, and I didn't really watch a lot of this game. I kind of, was looking at highlights and those kind of things, and it seemed overall that like it was a good matchup, just the Packers had Devonte Adams.
Well, that, and then also I think, just they couldn't protect Russell Wilson. That dude was running for his life the entire game.
The injury issues caught up to the Seahawks bad. And, I mean, the score doesn't show it, but the Packers handled them.
Yeah.
They're
the more complete team, without a doubt.
And I feel like they've kind of been under the radar all year, but the fact that they have a running game now that allows Aaron Rodgers to not have to beat a team in the fourth quarter by, some magical heave down the field. I mean, it's just they're absolutely a more complete football team.
It allows them, this is one of the things I actually like about the Packers is I feel like it allows them to use Aaron Rodgers only when they need him to. And that's one of those things that before it was more like he was like a crutch for them, where it was the team had so many glaring holes and issues on both sides of the ball.
But we have Aaron Rodgers.
But we have Aaron Rodgers, so he's just going to do everything for us.
No, you're absolutely right.
And now they can run the ball. They have a decent defense. I would say they're a decent to good defense.
Yeah.
And that's really what you need in addition to having a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you ask Aaron Rodgers, I mean, the upgrade on defense is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, from what they've had in the past to what they have now, and playing with a lead versus playing from behind. I mean, this is an Aaron Rodgers that we haven't had to see before. I feel like every other time it was him coming back in the fourth quarter and making something magic happen.
It's like, hey, let's score 3 touchdowns this quarter because we need you to.
Exactly. So, I mean, seeing a calm, poised Aaron Rodgers is dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that leads us into the conference championships. We have the Titans and the Chiefs and the Packers and the 49ers. Well, let's just start off favorites. Who do you think? Then we'll go into
I got
that.
Packers versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Right?
I like 49ers versus Titans.
49ers,
Wow.
Titans. Wow. I hope you're right because honestly, I would love to see the Titans in the Super Bowl.
I said wow because I agree. I thought I was going to be the outcast here.
No, I'm not going to be shocked if the Chiefs win. But I think if there's a team that can slow down what Patrick Mahomes and that offense can do, it's the freaking Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Tannehill he threw the ball 14 to 17 times in that game, and they came away on top. He didn't have to do anything, and they won.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Titans will have earned it if they go to the Super Bowl because their road to the Super Bowl is insanely tough.
They've had to beat everybody.
They beat the Patriots, they beat the Ravens, and then they theoretically would beat the Chiefs.
I think the biggest question of this game is, can the Chiefs defense stop Derrick Henry? Because no one in the playoffs has been able to.
I feel like they're pretty decent against the run though this year.
No?
No?
No, they're bad against the run. The
I know
pass
that
rush, they have a good pass rush.
I know that they're not. They don't have as many holes in their, I guess, linebacking core to safety as the Patriots and the Texans do.
But it's not good.
But it's it's more or less. He's a big dude, and I think this game is in Arrowhead, which is
it's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold, and tackling a fridge in the cold, no, thank you,
dude. Derrick Henry's a stud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it is played in Arrowhead, so obviously you have to give much respect to that fan base there and what they bring every freaking game.
Yeah.
I just like the Titans in this game. I really can't explain why. It's just they're running the ball more effectively. Their defense, they just shut down. They wouldn't say they shut down Lamar Jackson, but the Chiefs started off that last game soft, and unless they keep this same momentum going from how they finished this game into the next one, I don't know. I just don't see it.
They got to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, and if they can do that, obviously they're
I
going to
don't
be
think
successful.
it's Patrick Mahomes. It's more or less, can they stop the speed? Because the Chiefs are speed demons. Like,
Yeah, well,
if you can keep up with them, then you're good to go. And I guess Patrick Mahomes, plays a part in getting the ball.
He's got to get the ball there,
But
and then he's also keeping the defense kind of close because the guy can extend plays with his legs. And
It's going to come down to Tyrann Mathieu, to be honest with you. I mean, he's going to have to get up there, and he's going to have to make plays, and he's going to have to slow Derrick Henry down at the line of scrimmage. So if they can use that Swiss Army knife to game plan properly, then the Chiefs will come out on top. But I just don't see a 5'9" dude taking down 6'4", 250-pound refrigerator. So
God,
yeah, I mean, the line's close on this game. The spread's at 7 points. The over-under's at 53. 53 is a good amount of points. It's not.
yeah, I mean,
close.
since they
But even
scored
still,
51 in the last game.
But like a matchup like this, if you're calling it in the regular season, you're not giving the Titans 7 points on the Chiefs.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like,
well,
When
They-
get
they-
4 for being at home.
yeah.
they
So-
earned some respect with that last win against the Ravens,
Mhm.
especially from the Vegas odds makers.
So in reality, it's a 3-point spread.
Yeah. You don't give them 3 points in any other time
Yeah.
of the year. So, yeah, it'll be good. Then the second game we have is the Packers and the 49ers. Like you said, I mean, this was a different Packers offense that we saw in the playoffs of a calm, cool, collected Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers defense, we've pointed out their upside in being able to change those.
Best remaining defense in the playoffs, for
Yeah.
sure.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think the 49ers pull this one out. B, you said the Packers. Just why?
Aaron Rodgers, simple. I think he's the best quarterback remaining in the playoffs. I would put him over Patrick Mahomes, which I think Patrick Mahomes is a stud. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think they're a complete team. I feel like this will be a hard-fought game. I don't know what's the over/under. I think it's gonna be whatever. I'd probably take the under.
45.
45? Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty low. But anyways, I probably might still take the under on that one. I just think it's going to be kind of a slugfest. I just like Aaron Rodgers' ability to kind of give them a chance at any point in the game, whether they need a big completion on a 3rd and long or anything like that. I feel like
Yeah.
he's able to make that happen. And
It's that clutch factor.
I'm not a total believer in Jimmy Garoppolo yet. I mean, they were a better team than the Vikings. They just smoked them. And I wouldn't say that was because Jimmy Garoppolo was out there being a stud or anything,
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the same as Ryan Tannehill in the sense of they just don't have to lose the game for them.
Yes, I agree 100%.
But Ryan, your thoughts on this game?
I think that, yes, the Packers have a much better complete team, like we said before. I think that the run game is going to be a non-factor for them because of what the 49ers defense can do
Their
in shutting it
defense is
down.
stud.
I think that the pressure that they're going to be putting on Aaron Rodgers is going to force him to get rid of the ball quickly, and I don't think that they're going to be able to have as many big plays as they did against the Seahawks. So that's one of the reasons I definitely would take the under in this game, as well as just think that the 49ers are going to be able to do enough on offense to win. I'm a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that he's had his fair share of ups and downs this year. Turnover to touchdown ratio is about even, or not even. I think he's like 2 for 1 or something like that.
Which is good if he's 2 for 1, right?
I mean,
It's
he's
not
decent.
great.
It's
I mean, not in
great,
this day and age. I mean, you're looking for 3 to 1 or my God, 4 to 1 for the elite quarterbacks.
Remember when Aaron Rodgers had that like 40-4 or some ridiculous number
ridiculous
season?
yeah.
So I mean, it's not fantastic, but I do think that it's enough to win this game. I mean, when they played this game earlier in the year, obviously it's a different Packers team, but I also think that the injuries that have, some of the injured players the 49ers have gotten back are going to be a huge impact for them. And like I said, they're fresh.
Yeah.
The best defense remaining in football,
Yeah,
or at least
absolutely.
in the playoffs, I should say. But
Yeah, I definitely think that like the Packers key to win this game, like you said, like it's dink and dunk. Like they kind of just got to take the little chunks when they can. not look for the big plays because you're not really going to get it. And that seems to be the Packers' like go-to.
And it's going to be tough too because I mean, I don't know why, but this past weekend there was just so many bad drops by every single team, and the Packers, you know, they were a victim of it too. So I feel like, you know, if your only weapon going forward is going to be Devonte Adams, you know, you can basically regard him as shut down with Richard Sherman.
Agreed.
1-on-1 Sherman versus Devonte Adams.
I'm taking Sherman.
The thing is like,
Really?
sure, if they're playing zone, I mean, I'm still not taking the odds there. Like man to man, yeah, Richard Sherman. I'm not saying like Devonte Adams isn't going to do anything.
With that defensive front, I could agree there.
Yeah.
Well, one-on-one is like not them in an open field because clearly that's so much space. But with like a safety on top, a linebacker
Well, that's what
inside,
I mean. Like
just him.
If it's him one-on-one with Aaron Rodgers, you're taking Devonte Adams every time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know, the factors that are going into it, that, you know, they have a good safety, you know, 2 good safeties, and they have, you know, a really good pass rush. It's not going to be, I have 4 seconds to get the ball to Devonte Adams.
Yeah,
It's,
no.
I got to get the ball to him
I agree.
now.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Then we had the last college football game of the year, the national championship. We had LSU and Clemson, Tigers versus Tigers. It started out as a very, very interesting game. I mean, Clemson was doing everything with field position. On their end, they couldn't really move the ball past, you know, midfield, but they were pinning LSU deep. And then this game, you know, Joe Burrow just took over this game. I think he had 400 plus yards, 6 touchdowns in total. Well, 5 throwing, and he ran 1 in. So, I mean, this kid's just a stud. The
better team won.
Yes.
And, I mean, I said Clemson was going to win this game. Clemson was outmatched in every aspect of this game. I mean, this is probably going to go down as the best season from any college football team in the history of college football.
Well, I think it's LSU beat something like
7
five of the top 10?
25 teams or top 10 teams.
7 of the top 10 teams they beat. So
that's impressive.
Like, that's just dominant.
Yeah.
You know, having to go up and game plan week after week for studs.
And Joe Burrow had a 425 passing yards per game in all those matchups. He had 19 touchdowns or 0 interceptions with a 72% completion percentage and a 97.6 total QBR.
And with the first pick in the NFL draft,
Easy,
the Cincinnati
done.
Bengals select
Joe
Burrow.
And, you know, even him going to the Bengals, I know that, like, we'll talk about the game a little bit, but him going to the Bengals, it's like the Bengals aren't a bad organization overall. I feel like they have some good weapons.
Not a good organization. They don't have a terrible team.
Sorry, that's what I meant. They have good talent on the field. They're a poorly managed organization, but I feel like him going into that talent can add a lot of, you know, skill.
I just hope his game translates to the NFL. I don't see the foot speed that, you know, normally you would like to see from a quarterback coming into this day and age of the NFL.
But he has good pocket presence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
what
what I mean.
Think that's what
he's a phenomenal college quarterback, and you know everybody's been comparing him to Colt Brennan, quarterback out of Hawaii, and he's way better than Colt Brennan is.
Yeah.
But my thing is like when you watch Joe Burrow play, you can tell that there's a much more talented team on the field every time they go out there and play.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern. You have to worry about that every single time you draft a quarterback with the #1 overall pick. You're putting the best college quarterback on the worst football team. So that's my only thing is I hope his game can translate to the NFL.
And don't leave him home alone.
But yeah, the game, like we said, in the first period, or even first half, it was a good battle, and it seemed like it was going to be a very interesting game. But then LSU got into their rhythm, and they just took over this game. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Clemson, obviously, they're getting Trevor Lawrence back. They're the odds-on favorite to win next year.
Yeah,
so,
by a lot.
Yeah. It'll be good. You guys want to switch over to some baseball?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we had one big signing. I guess it's the end of the hot stove.
Yeah,
way.
last big free agent coming off the
Yeah,
board.
we had Josh Donaldson signing a 4-year, $92 million deal with the Twins.
Not a bad deal.
No, I mean...
No, he had a kind of a good contract year. He signed that 1-year deal with the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
Braves had a solid year. Came up short. They lost in 5 to the Cardinals in the division round. Honestly, I like that move for the Twins. I feel like they probably should be investing a little bit more in their pitching. But overall, I mean, obviously they're adding to their strength, which is guys who can hit the ball over the fence.
Yeah, and like we said earlier off podcast that they set the record I think last year with quickest to
they hit the most home runs in the history. In the regular season, I think.
So it's just adding to that.
I know there's juiced ball, but whatever.
But
I mean,
still,
take it with a grain of salt. They're playing the hand they're dealt.
You still have to hit a home run.
Yeah,
you still got to put the bat on the ball. So it's good on both ends. It's not a massive contract. It's not crazy amount of years.
You know what's sad is he's going to be getting paid about as much as Will Myers going to get paid from the Padres, and he's actually good.
Yeah, he actually has the production of what we wanted.
And he's established. I mean,
yeah.
Side note, but
yeah, side note, and it was a little bit sad, but yeah, it's good on both ends. Good for the organization. Not too many years, not a whole lot of money, but it's respectable. Then we had the Astros scandal come to fruition. I know that they started off earlier with them potentially using like wearable technology and also sign stealing in the sense of a camera in the center field translating back to the bench.
There's
MLB.
also like them like banging on trash cans when it's like an off-speed pitch and stuff. You heard about that?
Part of the like sign stealing with the camera. So yeah, MLB finally came out with a statement, and a whole lot of heads rolled, and a lot of things happened. The manager of the Astros, AJ Hinch, was suspended, and the GM, Jeff Luhnow, was suspended. Immediately fired by the Astros after that came out, which makes sense. I mean,
they lost their first and second round draft pick for the next 2 years.
2 years, yeah. But I mean, it makes sense that you fire your head coach and your GM because you can't run an organization without those two pieces. Then, yeah, like you said, Ryan, they lost their first and second draft pick for the next 2 years, which is a lot. Their former assistant GM was also suspended a year. The Astros, as an organization, was fined $5 million, which is the maximum amount allowed. Then you also had the Red Sox. Yeah.
I feel like they got off way light, to be honest.
Really?
I think they got off significantly light.
I totally agree.
So, like, a few years back, you remember the Atlanta Braves? They got dinged for illegally signing international prospects to these contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball basically took all those contracts and released them back out into the free agent market and dinged them, I think, several draft picks as well for something that's not nearly as significant as stealing someone's signs. And all they lost was a couple draft picks and suspending their manager and head coach or general manager. And
that's the thing is, like, you read it and you think, oh, they got like fined $5 million, and like all of us are like, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, to them that's like
nothing.
Dude, you think the Astros organization regrets it at this point?
It's like one player.
Not
like
even.
salary.
We just signed Josh Donaldson signed 4-year, $92 million over. So it's like $92 million over 4 years.
That's like that contract could not have come out at a better time. Like for at least people to understand what $5 million means to this organization.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
The money's nothing.
Yeah.
Losing a couple, draft picks
on a team that's already solidified,
a little bit, but not like It's not like it's going to damage them.
We're talking about 2 draft picks over the next couple of years that are probably like the bottom 28.
Let me ask you this. Would you trade a championship for giving up 2 future first-round picks and 2 future second-round picks?
That's where this whole thing is just tainted.
Yeah.
And like the fact that like, I mean, I'm not sure where the ability comes in, but like this championship means nothing.
It
So,
really,
like,
it would suck to be a fan of the Astros in that sense because it's like everyone's going to look at it with an asterisk. Now.
I was going to say, we talked about, like, I mean, I told you guys 1,000 times to watch the movie 61, and I know you haven't watched it yet. But, I mean, my God, they put an asterisk next to Roger Maris' home run record because he didn't hit the same amount of home runs in as many games as Babe Ruth did. You're telling me, like, we can't remove a championship or, you know, my God, they took away Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy.
Well, I wouldn't take it away from him, but I definitely would put a fat asterisk next to it. Because what are you going to do? Give it to the Dodgers or
but
give
like,
it to the Yankees?
They did the same thing with USC, though. They just removed it. It didn't happen.
It's different, like a full-on professional sports, but
I mean, I don't think so. I mean,
it shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah, I understand like the money aspect is different, and you know how the organizations are different. But when we're talking about like the history of the game, there's no point in even putting an asterisk next to it. Like, just remove it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are like, this was 2017 was also the year that Jose Altuve won the MVP. Like, Aaron Judge was a runner-up. He could have been Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. It's like, there's a lot that are surrounding this. But so, what do you guys think is like an adequate punishment then?
Oh God,
I don't even know where to start. I mean, like I said, I think that
like,
I mean,
just suspending them from baseball.
Well, there's a lot of you have to set a precedent going forward that this is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And like the question I just posed to you, would you trade a championship for forfeiting 2 future first rounders and 2 second rounders? I think
Absolutely.
I would take it as a heartbreak.
Yeah,
especially
like,
as a Padres fan.
Honestly, I feel like that's not a severe enough punishment.
we lost our head coach and our GM. So what?
Oh, yeah,
So what? I'm still the champion.
Yeah, and so honestly, as an owner, you're still saying that too, because as an owner, think of all that revenue you generated that year because your team won a championship, and even though they didn't know that, you know, the fans back then had no idea they were cheating when they were winning, but.
Yeah.
You know, you're also setting a precedent for other players, and you know, play like a pitcher out there. Just think of the psychological effect. He's thinking about throwing a pitch, and the other team already knows what that pitch is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of what that would do to your confidence
think
going
about,
forward.
Like, think about like how many players like were affected by, you know, their ERA being damaged against the Astros.
There's players that are complaining that they want their stats against Altuve, Bregman,
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Springer to be erased.
Think about the money that
those
players missed on because their statistics weren't as adequate because they played the Astros.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's where, like, I mean,
Who knows if
It's
Garrett
like
Cole's getting
economics.
as much
There's
money.
just a huge ripple effect throughout the league.
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't just affect like the Astros and the Dodgers. Like, we're talking about everything from their, you know, their prospects all the way to, you know, the players that are on their team right now. How good is Carlos Correa? How good is Jose Altuve?
Now that we know that they we got to see how they do without sign stealing too.
Yeah.
You know,
And like for like people that don't understand that, it's like the hardest part about hitting is not knowing what's going to come
yeah,
and
making the
not only that,
adjusting.
making the adjustments in a split second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not only that, but literally, like, scientifically, baseball is like one of the hardest sports. Hitting a round object with another round object to make it go into a defined playing field,
Yeah,
that is extremely hard
It's
to do.
there's a reason that the best hitters of all time fail 70% of the time.
yeah.
And
I
we're-
mean, hell, we go into a batting cage and it's like,
No,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Like,
The ball's going right. We already know where it's going, and we already know the exact speed, and we still struggle to hit it
Yeah.
sometimes.
and
you know?
even still, we would pop out in a lot of instances.
I mean,
Yeah.
batting, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
Ball placement, like, you know, if you're a centimeter off in baseball, it's the difference between a line drive and a ground out. I
Yeah.
mean, so I don't think the punishment is harsh enough. I don't know what the Major League Baseball can do, but it's not enough.
They also have to address not just the punishment, but they have to address the issue going forward.
Yeah.
Because teams are going to get creative and try to find new ways to sign steal, because that's not going away.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you
especially
ain't
with
cheating,
this,
you ain't trying,
especially with
yeah,
this
like-
weak ass punishment that they have
Sign
right now.
stealing alone has been something that's been present in baseball. And like when we
For
talked
a
about this
bit,
a long time
but
ago.
I'm if you do it the legit way,
That's
I
the
don't have a
thing.
problem with
if,
it.
If
But,
we're
like,
talking about if you're at second base and you got dialed in what their pitches are going to be, it's like good for you.
Yeah.
Like that took you just as that same smarts to figure that out as it does to figure out what pitch is coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. And like you're never going to be able to
but
take
you're
that away
not
from
utilizing
baseball.
a third party or an outside source to generate
or
that
just
knowledge.
using technology.
Yeah. So like there's like the guys like this. I think the Diamondbacks or one of those teams. I can't remember who it was. They got dinged with the smart Apple Watches.
Well, they
were
said
doing-
that the Astros were using wearable
Yeah.
technology as well.
So it's like what are they? How like do they have like a thing where players can't bring their cell phones into the locker rooms?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, like how far does that go? Does that include the equipment guys? Does that include? It's like I don't know. Like there could be a fan that gives a
it
guy.
could be the ball boy.
Yeah,
you know
like-
what I mean. Those are hometown fans as is.
yeah, like like how far does that go? And
It's
like
bad. Like honestly, like this is probably one of the worst things baseball could get into because it's going to change the entire complexity of
well, it looks bad for the sport too. Like all
and
right,
the fact that they
you're-
won.
you're just starting.
Yeah, the fact that they won is like a whole nother
Yeah,
layer to this.
like,
It's just
You're
talk
just
about-
starting to get past the steroids, and now
Yeah.
this thing popping up. You know,
And I heard somebody make the argument about the Patriots. I'm like, all right, with figuring out plays and such, you still have to execute in a physical sport. Obviously, it's an unfair advantage, but we're talking about times that the Patriots didn't even win a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Like in a metric-based game where analytics play such a huge factor into it, already knowing, like, and you winning a championship, I mean, it's beyond wrong, man. It's like we're not even talking about unethical anymore. Like you completely deteriorated what baseball is. Completely.
I'd rather the guys do steroids than this, to be honest.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
still got to go out there and hit the freaking ball.
Yeah.
And like that's the other thing. Like we said, this is affecting other pieces of Major League Baseball. Alex Cora, who was the bench coach in 2017 for the Astros, now the general manager of the Red Sox.
Head coach.
Or the head coach of the Red Sox got fired in 2018. Who knows what he did with that organization? They're digging into the Red Sox winning in 2018. Then you had Carlos Beltran, who was the only player named in the document. Now the head coach of the Mets. Who knows what's going to happen to him? And on top of that, we mentioned the other players on the Astros during that season. None of them were mentioned. It's like, how deep does it go?
They haven't gotten punished. And these guys are, I mean, they could try to play stupid and try to like pretend like they didn't know what the hell was going on, I guess.
You can't not know.
Well, I mean,
As a player, you can't not know.
no, for sure they know, but they can't prove that they know.
And I'm not
essentially.
even-
So, like, if there's a guy banging on a trash can, we're like, well, I don't know what that means, even though they're like, I know what that means.
I honestly,
Like-
I truly believe that these players need to be suspended. And I'm not saying they need to be suspended without pay. I mean, I'm not trying to mess up anyone's livelihood,
No,
but
like-
the severity of the punishment needs to affect ownership. And the only way you can do that is by putting a lesser quality team on that field.
Yeah.
If they can continue to roll out the Justin Verlanders and the Jose Altuves, Carlos Correas, George Springers, I mean, you're still going to have a ton of fans coming in. You're still going to be a playoff contending team regardless of who's the head coach.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make
Well,
any
it's-
ethical sense to like allow these players just, all right, nothing happened.
Well, we've already kind of had this discussion where the manager's not necessarily as impactful as it has been in the past, where they're more kind of just pawns, essentially making the moves that make the most analytical sense. But then since everything's so analytically driven, like, are we removing those tablets so the coaches don't know those decisions? Or like,
But
No,
you-
I don't know.
yeah,
I
you
like
can at
honestly,
that point,
where
you know
does
what
it
I mean?
stop? Because I know baseball is really in love with the analytics right now.
But
and
like to be a good like manager, you still have to properly utilize those analytics, and I think
Yeah.
that's where the a good manager now versus a good manager
Then,
20 years
yeah.
ago, that's the big difference.
Mhm.
And the difference is like analytics went out the window when you cheated signs.
Yeah.
Like there's no analytic
Yeah.
base in that. That's just you knowing what's happening.
You knowing an off speed's coming right now,
Yeah.
so sit back.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, wipe the freaking record book, man. Like I think this is ridiculous.
I think
Yeah.
I think the punishment needs to put the Astros as an organization back so far that they are like a 12-year rebuild out.
Well, they were
need
like
to,
what they
start
were
again.
before they were successful, because they
exactly.
were a shit team before they went successful. they were making those leaps that
And for
I was hoping the Padres are going to make, but
now you know why.
I know why they did it now,
Yeah,
and that's why it's unfair to hold the
And
Padres
it's
that
very
standard.
frustrating when you think about an organization like the Cubs, and you're like, okay, the Cubs, they did everything right. They got all the prospects that they needed. They signed players on when they needed to, and then you watch the Astros, and you're like, oh, they're doing the same thing, but a lot faster. This is happening a lot quicker. And like when you're going back and watching it, you're kind of like, how did they not catch on sooner?
It's just like, honestly, like as a fan of,
Well,
Like,
as a
I'd love to get an Astros fan on here and figure out what they thought.
No, I feel like if I was an Astros fan, I would be deflated a little bit. Well, I'm like, well, yeah, it was cool. We won a championship, but now it doesn't mean shit.
I don't know. As a Yankees fan, though, I always hated seeing the Astros in the playoffs because it was like, I even said it to my dad, like in that 2017 year when they lost in Game 7 to him. It was like Bregman was on second, and he kept doing he was on second multiple times that game, and it kept doing something weird. And I was like, he's stealing signs. Like somehow they are stealing signs. They know what's coming, and now it comes to fruition that they literally knew what was coming.
Yeah, it makes you kind of like go back and look at everything like, damn, like it was there. The writing was on the wall.
Well, it seemed like the Yankees. I think the Yankees were my pick last year, and then I was surprised that the Astros just somehow came out of nowhere and fucking won it.
CC Sabathia.
Yeah.
CC Sabathia could have won a freaking World Series.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
No, there's it's like we were saying before, massive ripple effects across baseball, and it looks bad for the sport. And in a time where baseball's kind of losing the younger audience, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just tough.
And there's a lot of fans out there that just aren't gonna understand like the repercussions of how and why this affects baseball. But when you're playing against a team and they have everything on you already, you don't need a scouting department at that point.
No, you don't need anybody. You could literally just go
don't
out
need
with a
anything.
camera.
I'm okay with you doing every little bit of research you possibly can, but the second the game starts, it should just be like you're physically figuring things out at that point. Like you're not using
chess match.
You're not using technology or a camera or whatever it is, to figure out what the next pitch is going to be or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not even like opposed to that per se. It's like if you're using like technology that's available to you, whatever.
Well, I was thinking like if you're using a camera and relaying the sign back to your bench and shit, like that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and also the Astros, I mean, they also got in trouble in that 2017 year with the security guard standing in the bench texting the other side. Like he was taking pictures, he was videoing, texting whoever is in the bench as well. It's like there was multiple instances of them.
Well, it just takes away from
cheat.
like I think of going to, when I think of baseball, I think of like going to the game, like seeing the guys on the bench. Like it kind of had like more of like an old school feel to it, and you're just taking away from that now. It's not. It's no longer what it once was.
And it's very disappointing that these players like were okay with it.
Yeah,
like
they were like
it's very
on board.
disappointing.
Yeah,
It
zero
took
integrity.
2 years for this to come out. Like, was it Matt Freeze Fries or
Freeze? Yeah,
that like came out and said something, and like that dude's been freaking like torn apart by everybody. But I mean, like nobody like was gonna come out and say like, oh hey, like this probably isn't right. Like I get it, you're a player, like you play for the owner, whatever. But come on.
Yeah,
it's weird, and that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because you're like, do I turn my back on my teammates and rat them out?
It's just weird.
And then if I do, I'm fucking. They're gonna hate my.
What is like
guts.
26, 27 players on the Major League Baseball team?
I think it's 26 now. It used to be 25.
So 25 players. Out of all 25 players, like not one person like said something to anybody.
And you have like multiple bench coaches. You have other people. Like I don't know. It was
not a good look.
Not a good look. All right, let's do the stat of the day. I got the stat of the day this week. Antonio Gates played basketball. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
Kawhi Leonard is the first player to score 43-plus points in less than 30 minutes while taking 10 threes
Against
or
the
fewer
Cavs. Yeah.
since Larry Bird in 1986. I mean, that's just
Dude,
incredible.
You know what's insane too is Giannis Antetokounmpo that same night scored 37 points in 21 minutes. Like, holy shit. That's like...
The impressive part is like 10 threes or less. So that means that he's driving, he's grinding out for these points.
He's doing
It's
old
not-
school style scoring. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure.
It's not just him pulling up, getting
Well,
in rhythm.
And
It's-
he sat on the bench after the third quarter. Like that's yeah.
Still not as good as the Miami Heat, though.
You guys are playing better than us. We fucking suck right now.
Yeah, but you said Kawhi's numbers getting retired
February 1st
by the
against
Raptors. So.
no by
Or-
by San Diego State.
San Diego, sorry, yeah.
On
Yeah.
The Raptors.
Yeah, the
God,
Raptors
they
are-
probably will retire his number. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that'll be good.
The best one and done
But-
there ever was.
Yeah. God.
But all right, everybody, we are the Three Amigos and a Podcast. We will be back next week.
Later.
See ya.